what is your gross margin? If you can't tell me what it is, you are killing your business. So after spending over 5,000 hours helping contractors profit more, I've seen that a ton of them can't answer this question. And not only that, they also don't know how to mark up their costs correctly, which leads them losing a ton of money. So if you think you're like them and you weren't able to tell me your gross margin right away, this is the video for you. How to mark up your costs correctly and understand your gross margin and do it in a way that you don't even have to be good at math. First, let's figure out the difference between markup and margin. They're not the same. Please, they're not the same. I have seen this issue and it just hurts so much because it's like, usually if you're looking at a 50% margin and you treat it as a 50% markup, you are missing out on 3x the revenue. So if you're doing that, here's a way to 3x revenue. Make sure you do it correctly. So here's the thing. Markup is by how much of the cost, like how much of the cost you're adding to get the final price to your customer. So that if I mark something up by 50%, which would be multiplying it by 1.5 times. So let's put in an example. I have a recipe that needs 6 eggs and you have a bunch of eggs to give me. And the goal is me getting the eggs I need to make the recipe. But on top of that, I want more eggs to be able to make more recipes later on. So let's say I mark up my offer by 1.5 times. So that 50% markup. Okay, cool. If we treat it as a 50% markup. So I will go and say, I need 6 eggs. So, and then a 50% markup is 6 times 1.5, which is 9, right? It's 50% added onto the total. So half of 6 is 3. So I'm going to add 6 plus 3 and we get 9. So I ask you for 9 eggs. Now, here's the thing. A margin of 50% means that of the total eggs that I ask you, I only need half of them to make my recipe. So let's do that same example with a 50% margin on it. Now of the total that I ask you, I need my recipe to only use half of them. So how do we get that? We multiply by 2 times, right? Because it's half of it needs to be profit, right? Essentially. So we're gonna multiply the 6 eggs that I need for the recipe by 2. And in the end, I'm gonna ask you for 12. Now we have 3 eggs extra. We have 3 eggs more profit. Guess what? We have double the profit than we did if we only marked up by 50. So that's the thing, is you need to understand that markup is by how much you increase, by how much of the cost you increase by how much of the cost you increase to get your final price, right? So we have 50% markup means that half of my cost is gonna be what I add to the total price. Whereas with margin, half of my price is my cost, okay? So huge difference, and if you get this wrong, you lose out a ton of money, okay? So please understand that margin is of the total price and markup is of the total cost. 2 different things. Okay, now that you understand what markup is and what margin is, I'm gonna give you 2 ways to appropriately mark up your cost that are super easy. One you can do straight from your phone, and then the other one, I'm gonna show you a tool that we made that's completely free. So here's the thing with it. Either you can get our tool, which is completely free to you, but if you wanna just keep everything within your own phone, you'll also have that tool. End of the day, I just wanna help you get this right because it hurts to watch people get it wrong. If you really hate doing math, this is the option for you. It's our spreadsheet. And I'm gonna pull it up really quick so I can go through it really quick. And don't be scared of spreadsheets. There's 3 things I think that you have to fill out and that's it. The rest of the spreadsheet is actually locked up and you can't touch it. So let me pull that up. All right. Now we go into labor cost. How much do we pay our employees per hour? Let's say we pay them a good amount. We pay them 60 an hour, let's say, all right? We think that this job is gonna take us, and now we need to add up. So in the labor cost per hour, this is just how much do you pay your employees, like each one on average, right? And then here we're gonna go, what are our total working hours for that job? So across everybody. So I think we're gonna need 2 guys out on that job and each one is gonna spend 4 hours on it. So in total, it's gonna be 8 hours. And then drive time, I think, and again, we have to double this because we have 2 employees going there, is I think it's, 30 minutes from our office to the supply house and then to their house total, I think 30 minutes each. And we're gonna do this in one day. So it's gonna be 60 minutes of drive time, 60 minutes of drive time, but this is in hours, so we need to put 1 for it. And then equipment rental, we didn't rent any equipment, so we have nothing. Cost is also nothing because we didn't have anything. And then anticipated permitting cost, I think it is just like 15 for this job. And then other expenses, we didn't have anything else. So what price do we need to sell this job at? $1,810. That's how easy it is. It's that easy. You just go through and you put in what your costs are and it shoots out the price and it gives you that 50% gross margin. Let's just take our cost and let's do a 50% markup compared to having this 50% gross margin. So a 50% gross markup would be $905, which is the price, which is our cost for this job. So 905 divided by 2, $52 of profit instead of $900 of profit. So now we add this to the 905 and we sell the job at $1,350. So if we had done the markup of 50% instead of having a 50% gross margin, you would have had a 33% gross margin. So a markup of 50% here is a 33% margin instead of a 50% margin. So that, I mean, that's huge, pretty huge. All right, let's move on to the other example. And I'm actually gonna keep my phone here because I'll just use a calculator here really quickly. It's really easy to do. So I'm gonna show you how do we figure out with just a calculator, right? I gave you our option. Hey, you can get that completely free. But if you say, hey, look, I just want to stay on the calculator that's on my phone, no problem. All right, so we have the same exact numbers as we had before, and I'm actually gonna pull them up so I can compare them super easily. So material cost was $350. All right, we're gonna note that. So labor, we have 8 hours of driving, 1 hour of driving hours. So we have 9 hours of labor at 60 an hour, but we have so we have 9 hours of labor total across everyone, and each hour of labor cost us $60, right? We already added it up, so we said, hey, each one makes 60 an hour, and each one is working about 4.5 hours for that 9 hours. So we take 9 times 60, we get 540 for our labor. We know that we have $15 in permitting, and we know that we have $350 in materials, which brings us to 905. So all we're doing there is just adding up all the costs. And now, because we want to have a gross margin of 50%, we're gonna take that total times 2, and we get our final price of $1,800. Now, here's the cool thing about the calculator is that we can go in and put in specific metrics for you. So if you have like really, really high fuel costs because you're driving around these huge trucks, we can add in a little bit extra. If you're super efficient and you work super fast, we can drop that a little bit. So there's ways to adjust it in the spreadsheet that take quite a bit more math in the calculator, but it doesn't take much math to do it. So here's the thing. If you want to just quickly get prices out, this is how you do it on a calculator. If you want to do it even quicker and in a way that's even more customizable, that's super easy because we'll do the numbers for you, get our calculator. But either way, please stop treating markup as if it's margin because they're two different things. And as you can see, if you do it correctly, you make 1.5 times more money, which is a lot of money. That's a lot more. And that's actually purely in profits. So just do it, please. Just do it. And especially at the end of the month, you're gonna have way more money this way because gross margins have a huge effect on net margins. So that's pretty much everything for the video. If you do wanna get that template, that 7-figure, 70-second template that actually helped one of our contractors go from 6 figures to 7 figures in 2025, just get it. It's completely free to you. whoopenvironmental.com/winning estimate. And if you don't want that, just save this video so you can watch that calculator section over and over again until you perfect it. Anyways, thank you for watching. And I will ask for one thing, and that is that you have a good day. And if you want to subscribe, cool. But the thing that matters here is that you have a good day. So please have a good day. Do me a favor. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.